The cost of living in this country is currently, it's not going to be, it is currently unsustainable. And there are people that they know this, but then they'll still look at somebody else that's struggling and then tell them they're not doing good enough.
Why is everything expensive? 4 companies control 55 to 85% of the meat market. 4 companies control 80% of the air travel market. 3 companies control 92% of the soda market. 3 companies control 72% of the cereal market. And why don't you hear about it? 6 companies control 90% of the news. I'll see myself out.
People are saying that the cost of living in the United States is unsustainable. And honestly, a lot of people have the right to feel that way, because if you look at it right now, rent is up, groceries are expensive, everything is expensive. And buying a home feels impossible. Buying a home feels impossible right now to a lot of people. At one point, buying a home was the dream. Was the dream for a lot of people. Right now, even people that has homes are trying to get rid of the home so they can get rid of the bills.
The cost of living in this country is currently, it's not going to be, it is currently unsustainable. And there are people that they know this, but then they'll still look at somebody else that's struggling and then tell them they're not doing good enough. I want you to imagine somebody that makes $75,000 a year. That's a pretty high up wage in terms of like top earners in this country, $75,000 a year. And we're going to go through some things here. This is a person with no debt outside of a car. And please don't hit me with the, you can go buy a car for, shut up, you can't, shut up, stop saying ridiculous things. An entry-level decent car is $30,000. So this person who puts $200 a month into insurance and they pay 5% into their 401k because shut up, people should be able to put money into their retirement. Because if you're not doing it now, you're never going to get to start doing it later. So after those two things come out of their paycheck and their taxes are paid, they bring home $53,850 a year from a $75,000 paycheck. Average rent in my state for a 1-bedroom apartment, because an adult should be able to live by themselves, $1,700. That car payment at 6% for an entry-level, very reasonable sedan, nothing fancy, that car payment's $579 a month. Car insurance, $240 or so a month for a lot of vehicles in this day and age. You're a young person, you've got a nice job, but the insurance companies still want to screw you over. Food. You only cook at home. You never, ever go out. You only cook at home and you only eat decent quality food because a human being should be allowed to eat decent quality food. You pay $879 a month for that. You spend $250 a month in gas. You wear and tear on your car $100 a month. $80 for your phone, $80 for your internet, $175 a month for your electricity, $70 for your water, $20 for your cash. You make $75,000 a year, and outside of a car payment, you have zero debt. Do you know how much money you have left over annually at a $75,000 wage? You do nothing. You don't own a Netflix. You don't go out on a date. You don't pay to go to a park. You don't go watch a movie. You do nothing. If you can't find it on the internet for free, you don't get to do it. If you can't cook it at home for your $800, you don't get to do it. You have $3,700 left over annually. That's like $320 a month. And there's going to be, well, that's $300. Shut up. Shut your stupid, contrarian, edgelord mouth. That's not a doctor bill, because God knows just because we have insurance doesn't mean that we don't still pay far out the ass when we go to the doctors. People like to be entertained. They want to date. They want to... There's those of you out there that will tell somebody living like this on $75,000 a year before taxes that they are not doing what they're supposed to do, that they should get a second job, that they should get a side hustle, that they should get a better job. And the fact that you would look at somebody with no debt other than a car and say something like this to them means objectively you're a moron and you live in a fantasy world. This is unsustainable.
Anyone else feel like they're absolutely fucking drowning financially? As a single 29-year-old woman, I have 3 jobs and I'm still fucking struggling, and I'm just getting myself farther and farther into credit card debt because I don't have enough after the first of the month to avoid using it. It just isn't working. Full-time job. not doing it. Got a second job. It's barely doing it. The third job, hit or miss if I even get paid on time. I feel like I'm drowning, and I don't know what to do. I don't know if any industry is doing well right now. I used to be a server. I used to have all this cash every night whenever I would walk out with cash. And I don't have that anymore. And I don't even know if they're doing okay right now. Like, I have seriously considered quitting my full-time good job to go back to serving. Because at least I can just like use my personality and try to get more money than minimum wage or...
American. I pay $1,600 for a flat that has no bedroom. That's 2/3 of my income. I'm an American. I work 50 hours a week. I don't have health insurance. I'm an American. I couldn't afford to have a child even if I wanted to. I'm $7,000 in debt. I'm an American. My health is declining because I can't afford Whole Foods because that's too expensive for my life. I am very overqualified for my job, but no one else is hiring. I'm an American. I make my boss hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, while I can barely keep myself alive. I'm an American. I have never been out of the States. I have never been on a vacation. I'm an American. I make $20-some an hour. A livable wage here is like 30-some. Yet I don't qualify for government assistance whatsoever. On the days I don't work, I'm so tired I just sleep all day. I'm an American. My electric bill is so expensive I sit outside in the heat because I can't afford to turn the AC on in the damn house. I'm an American, and I fear I'm just an average American. I'm living the American dream.
America has become completely unaffordable, and I don't know why more people are not talking about this. Half of America doesn't even have a savings, rent is insane, healthcare is a luxury, and somehow the narrative is still people are just bad with money. Like, what money? People are working full-time. Most people have 2 to 3 jobs anymore because you have to. At what point do we stop blaming the people and just accept the fact that the cost of living has simply just outpaced reality? Because everything is this expensive, you have to know exactly where all of your money is going anymore. Like, a budget is just simply a necessity. You have to have one. Started using a budgeting app like mine to figure out where all of my money is going, but it does not make up for the fact that America is too expensive to live in anymore. If you're struggling, you are not alone.
I am so sick of people talking about the economy and how people need to just stop buying coffee or wait till they can afford kids to have them. It's tough out here for everyone. I'm a controls engineer. I have a good job. I've been doing this for a minute. You can Google a controls engineer salary. I should be able to live very comfortably as a single man with 3 kids. I should have no financial struggles. I should be able to afford a home. I should be able to afford a brand new car. And all of this while taking trips and having vacations. And I live in a trailer. I drive a fairly new car, yes. But I have to budget. Like, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I cannot get ahead. I do not buy expensive clothes. I do not take expensive trips. I do not put stuff on credit card. I'm not there yet. But for what I make, I should live very comfortably, and I don't presently. I thought at one time if I made as much as I make now, I would be rich and have no problems. And that's probably true 8 years ago. But over the past 5 years, I have seen my standard of living substantially drop. I am living a lower middle class lifestyle. And I make good money. I don't drink my coffee out. I make it at home every day. I carry my lunch. I take my kids to fast food maybe once a week, $30-40. I have a Planet Fitness membership. I shop at discount clothes. I thrift for almost everything. So telling people to just stop buying coffee and they could afford a home or just to wait a little bit till they can afford kids is just gaslighting people. We're being robbed by our government, through the hands of corporations, by our government's control. in hearing people and reading comments that people are just don't get it. They really don't. I feel bad for my kids. I feel bad for people starting out today. Gen X didn't have it very easy. The millennials didn't have it very easy. And I don't know what Gen Z is going to do. We're in a bad situation in this country financially. We're $38 trillion in debt, and they're about to turn the printers on again, which is going to cause even more inflation and even more problems. So I don't have easy answers, but telling people to stop buying coffee and wasting money, like that's we're past that. We're way past that. It's time to do something. I don't know what, but something's got to give.
I'm holding my phone up because my phone holder just broke amongst everything else. In the wise words of the prophet George Carlin, it's called the American dream because you have to be asleep to believe it. Meanwhile, I'm out here. I'm not asleep. I am wide awake. I am paying $6 for McCormick chicken dust today. Chicken dust. Chicken seasoning is $6 for a tiny little fucking jar. Eggs, $10 damn a dozen. Folgers coffee. Folgers coffee is now $20 for the lidded red jar. The tin that tastes like it was scraped out of a nursing home's drip pot in 1986. And then Trump's over here like, the economy's great. It's great. Really, bitch? That's why people are financing their groceries on Klarna like it's a Louis Vuitton bag. That's why we're out here afterpaying fucking bananas. By the way, I've lost my voice if you can't tell, just, from being sick and from crashing out this week over groceries. It's not the American dream. It is the American gaslight. And we're all just out here seasoning our fucking ramen with bad debt that we can't pay. You can't even treat yourself anymore. A Starbucks run feels like applying for a small business loan. A grocery store trip requires like a blood sacrifice in your firstborn and a cosigner with decent credit. Costco is absolutely terrifying. I don't even want to go in. I mean, it used to be the land of abundance, and now I'm terrified. You walk in rather confident, and walk out broke and confused, holding a $40 jar of pickles and a kayak that you didn't know you fucking needed. And let's be honest, bill due dates, those aren't real anymore. They're polite little suggestions, sometimes polite, sometimes not. Credit cards be calling me like, ma'am, you're 4 days past due. And I'm like, and? Get in line, man. You'll get your $35 minimum payment when I'm done paying $12 for these eggs. I just realized I wasn't breathing there. And utilities don't even pay the electric bill or buy milk for the kids. Choices. But sure, tell me again about how wages are up. Yeah, cool. $3 more an hour so I can afford a half cart of groceries and a therapy session about why I cried in aisle 5 because the box of Cheerios was $9. $9. And at this point, I don't need a financial advisor. I need an exorcist because clearly the demons running this economy are thriving while the rest of us are out here bartending vibes and trauma for gas money. And when that doesn't cut it, guess who's going to be at the pawn shop with grandma's heirlooms? Not me. Yes, sir, it's a Victorian locket from 1892. No, I don't care what it's worth. Just tell me if it'll cover 2 gallons of milk and a tank of unleaded. For fuck's sake.
Our economy is so bad right now that there are people who aren't getting paid enough. So because of the rising gas prices, they can't afford to get to work. Meanwhile, we now have our government requesting $200 billion. Let me repeat that. $200 billion to continue to fund a war that no one asked for. But people can't afford to get to work. We don't have universal health care. Rent prices are increasing. People can't afford to buy homes. They make education extremely unaffordable, or you take out loans that you will then pay for the rest of your life. I'm seeing people online who are shocked, appalled. I can't believe I voted for him. I can't believe... I'm going to use this moment right now, and it's not going to help anyone, but it's going to help me and probably some other people. We told you so. We told you so. While you were busy listening to podcasters and friends who have no idea what's going on, the rest of us told you so. Even Kamala Harris, as much as you all don't want to like her, told you so. He said he was going to better the economy. Where? Where? Show me the economic plan that he showed you. Because I was there. I was paying attention. Where? It didn't exist. It never existed. You were fooled.
Salaries are pretty much steady. They're pretty much the same for a lot of people. Even though a lot of things have increased, salary still stays the same. So I feel like people complaining that the cost of living is unsustainable and unbearable is not far-fetched. I think that the cost of living is very unsustainable for a lot of people for the amount of money that they make and how much bills they have to pay. I think people are very, very valid for that the cost of living is very unsustainable and they can't really afford life, because I kind of feel like how are you supposed to build life if all you are working for is to pay bills? If all your wages are going towards bill, how are you supposed to build a family? How are you supposed to even save up to buy your first home? That's why you are seeing more people living with roommates, getting multiple jobs, moving back in with their family, and doing side hustles just to keep up with their lifestyle, just to keep up with life. So when people say the cost of living in the United States is unsustainable, what they are really trying to say is they're not trying to get rich, they're not trying to acquire a lot of wealth or anything. They're not trying to buy mansions or just, they just want to be able to afford a normal life. They just want to be able to afford their house. They just want to be able to, I don't know, just take a 1 week vacation off from their stressful life if they can. But right now, a lot of people cannot. A lot of people have families that they need to feed. They have to make sure their kids are okay. Their kids have clothes on their back or food on the table. And it's just so their family is good. Just so their family and themselves don't end up on the streets. You know what I mean? So people are not trying to get rich when they complain. People are not trying to acquire the most money or asking for 6-figure jobs or whatever. But they're just asking to be paid like reasonable price, like reasonable wage to be able to take care of their families. Simple things to do with their family. Just take their kids out on the weekend just for a change of scenery. Instead of just having their kids at home all the time, even on vacations, just take them out to the zoo, I don't know, to the water park, or just take them out on a weekend vacation for them to be able to afford it. But a lot of families can't do that. A lot of families are even struggling to keep up with their bills that they have. Bills are choking people. They go to sleep thinking about, how that bill or this bill or this bill is going to be taken care of. So their family do not end up on the street. You know what I mean? It's really sad, but this is the reality of a lot of people. So let me know if you think the cost of living is out of control, or if you think people are just being dramatic for no reason. I don't think people are just being dramatic for no reason. I think the cost of living in this country is out of control. I think the cost of living it's unsustainable. And I think the cost of living is so high because if you look at it, everything else is high, and wages are still the same. So it's really, really tough out there for a lot of people. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.